If you are enjoying the content and would like to help us continue making videos, your support on Patreon or Subscribestar would be amazing. We are a team of 5 full-time employees and unfortunately we are not yet sustainable, and rely wholly on ad revenue from other channels. And even with ad revenue, the monetization status of channels can switch without warning, especially with channels that are as outspoken as Night's Watch. If every one of our active viewers were able to donate between $1 to $5 a month, that would make us fully self-sustainable, and then we could try and grow and push to making even more and better content for you. Any support would be phenomenal, and thank you to everyone who is supporting us on Patreon or Subscribestar. Welcome back to The Watch. As you probably know by the title, we want to talk about the Ackman Quantum TV controversy. And yes, I'm going to say it that way. There's lots to go into, so I have no idea how long this will be, but I want to talk about everything in regards to it. So this could be a deep dive, who knows? And a lot of people have been already hearing about this, and if not, you'll get to learn about it from us. And if you have, we want to share our thoughts on the thing. So even if we're going over information you might be aware of, you'll get to see our thoughts and reaction and conversation in regards to it. So you've heard of, you've seen what's
based on only what you told me, I kind of avoided the videos.
All right, well, I get to tell you now as well. Okay, so it starts. Okay, the Ackman is a larger YouTuber. His video, he uploads irregularly, maybe once or twice a month, but his videos get decent views, like over 1 million each usually. Yeah. And he decided to react to a video that someone made. This someone is Quantum TV, who did a review of Elden Ring, and his review was not received very positively. Ackman made a video like worst takes of Elden Ring. I had not heard of the Ackman before, but I came across that video organically because on Shadiversity I had my own review of Elden Ring, and that wasn't received too well by the Elden Ring community.
Oh boy, was it not.
The thing is though, I feel my review actually was quite grounded and had a lot of fair points. And liked it. I love Elden Ring. I think it's a great game. But there were things that I felt were objective faults in it that I talked about. There was a discussion, a debate. I responded to, and one thing that I did notice, right, is how astronomically people were misrepresenting what I was saying about Elden Ring. Yeah. Because look, I think, from my own, if you're saying I'm wrong, this is my direct experience from it. I found the larger Elden Ring community be extremely defensive, and sometimes I think that's perfectly valid because I think there are unfair criticisms to the game, like if you look at this original review Quantum TV did, it is an astronomically bad take.
And it's well known that the Soulsborne community is very militant.
well, and when there's a bad take, I think good. I think there should be gatekeeping in fandoms to prevent subversion and corruption of the thing they love. But they were thinking I was trying to do that. And I kept saying, no, you will not have to change anything you love. If you just did these 1 or 2 things, you could keep what you love, but then it would address some of the criticisms I had with it. And it's not the only criticisms a lot of people actually had those same criticisms. A lot of people were agreeing with me, also who were big fans of Elden Ring. But the fact that I did see misrepresentation of my point to a very large degree, disingenuous level, that certainly is there. And the comments that people were lobbying against me, which I felt I had a much fairer criticism, was still some very harsh, very disingenuous. You laugh, you roll with it. You have to either say, look, clearly you're not listening, or any number of things, or sometimes you just laugh it off. Okay? There are different ways you could react. So anyway, with that set up, right, and if you're unaware, I have a channel called Shadiversity. It has over 1 million, subscribers.
I'm aware of that at this point.
I know, people come to Night's Watch organically, and so my Elden Ring reviews, it was a review from somewhat more prominent creator, and they got attention, and people even made a couple articles on it. And so when I saw the video Worst Elden Ring Hot Takes, I was wondering if he was reacting to me. And I was like, okay, let's see what this was. And maybe the Ackman didn't even come across. I don't know, if you looked at like controversial Elden Ring hot takes, my one was fairly prominent in that, in that time when Elden Ring reviews were going around. So I don't know if he came across it or not. He probably did, but if he didn't, or he just thought my take wasn't nearly as bad.
Came out before yours.
It might have actually as well. But anyway, he reacted to some really bad things. And, like, Quantum TV's review of Elden Ring was genuinely atrociously bad. So many of his points were so astronomically bad that a lot of people reacted to it. And look, this is coming from someone who is targeted and identified as a big critic of Elden Ring, which I'm actually not. I love the game, but the fact that I had criticisms for it was too far even then. But he, as a, a critic of Elden Ring, his review was awful, and to the point where he was like saying, if a game isn't made for everyone, it's not a game worth being made. And that is an astounding take. That was one of his big hot comments of the thing. It's like games like if you try and make a game for everyone, it's for no. What are you supposed to do?
Yeah, you play soccer, like let people with wheelchairs on the team as well. You know?
So does that mean like sports games or everything?
That's what I was thinking. Yeah,
I love RPGs, character creation stuff. I mean, genre shouldn't exist. It was an astoundingly bad take. But then you'd say, I probably misrepresenting when I was saying a game needs to be accessible. Like it's the difficulty level that he was having an issue with and stuff. And the difficulty level is one of the features of Elden Ring. And again, it goes back to one of my criticisms. There's a difference in terms of the gameplay difficulty versus the story, how difficult it is to enjoy the story in Elden Ring. If they actually presented the story the same way they presented the gameplay, that would be really good. But the storytelling in Elden Ring is where I have the issue.
Wait, what do you mean if they presented the story as the same?
Well, for instance, they have a tutorial in Elden Ring to let you know how the combat works. There's nothing indicating at all that there is a deeper story hidden in this game, that so many people go through the entire thing and they don't know anything about the story, and the story is so great. I like it. The world building is so awesome. That's my whole take. The title of my video is that what pisses me off about Elden Ring. That's what pisses me off, is that the story is so great that so many people are missing it. And I was pissed off that people are missing such a great story, and I want them to be able to enjoy it, but there wasn't enough cues, things to help them either commit to exploring the story or even getting enough context for it. That was my criticism. And so there's an example of my own. So his one here is mostly about the gameplay and the difficulty rating and stuff. But oh boy, yeah. So then two responses, right? This is where it gets bad for Quantum TV in terms of reflecting bad, because so you had a bad take on a video game, right? He could have left it. That would have been it. He doesn't like Elden Ring. He was unfair in the criticism of it. End of story.
Yep.
Okay. People memed on him, laughed on him. Happened to me. Okay, not as much as him, clearly, but get over it. It's done. It's over. Okay.
Yeah.
But then, oh boy, it has revealed a pattern of behavior from this individual that does not reflect well on him at all. So it turns out there were smaller creators that had responded to him. In fact, Actman got inspired to do a response based on another creator. I think his name was Mischief or something like that. It was a smaller creator that also responded to him. And Quantum's reaction was to copyright strike other people's videos that had content from his own.
Yeah.
If there is one thing, if you're not aware, there's one thing that creators generally across the board despise, and it's false copyright striking.
Yep.
And where does this go into? The fair use defense, okay? Big people, big companies do it and everything like that. You can use copyrighted material for critique, for parody, for review, okay?
As long as it's transformative.
As long as it's transformative. Not only that, okay, that's just one aspect of the copyright protection. If it does not prevent the copyright owner from making a profit from their copyright material, okay, then it's also under fair use. Now, that's where the transformative thing comes in, because even if people are responding, they have this entire video, right? But if the video is not played from start to finish without interruption or commentary, then it's not a re-upload of the content.
Do you remember what happened with Sargon with his lawsuit?
Yeah.
He played bits of her thing,
but re-edited it to show the blatant contradiction where she would say something and contradict herself later on. Well, he edited it to put it side by side, okay?
Yeah. And he won the lawsuit because there was no...
Well, it didn't go to the trial. Her lawyers stuffed up. They said... they actually said in the correspondence to the judge about trying to present the case that Carl's use of that material was a review. They said because of his review, stuff, they acknowledged that it was a review. And destroyed their own case completely.
Oh, that's a shame.
It would have won if it went to trial, because there are other cases where it goes to trial. For instance, South Park was taken to trial for using a copyrighted song, and it's Butters, I think, and he sings an entire song, all the lyrics, and without changing anything, but because it was from their character and on their show, it was considered transformative, and they won the copyright lawsuit out of that. So there are cases upon cases. There's even though Ethan Klein has just fallen from grace dramatically, but his case, where he reacted to a video and just had commentary, won, hands down, all right? And you could look at that Ethan Klein reaction video and Ackman video. It's an equivalent use of commentary and review. Absolutely. Undeniably so. So the fact that Quantum TV has then tried to copyright claim people's videos, and then people try to, and he has doubled, tripled, quadrupled down that they are breaching his copyright, okay? He doesn't understand fair use in the slightest.
He doesn't. He doesn't.
But the thing is, though, there are, like, he uses it as a way to obviously deflect criticism. He's only striking the people that are critical of him, and his Streisand effect is into the atmosphere. Everyone knows about it because of his behaviour. But it also has revealed a pattern of behaviour where he has seeming like he's in the AV community, where I talk about the best settings for your TV and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That he has copied other AV channel settings and presented them as his own, or reworded them, but essentially the same settings. And there are other times where his own settings are just garbage. And the greater AV community have said as much. I am not as informed enough to be able to side with either side on that, because I know when I say controversial things, and people in the larger community, like my Dagger review, try to say he doesn't know what he's talking about because XYZ, and they end up strawmanning my points completely. That could be the case here, so I need to give benefit of the doubt, and I don't know really. But his behaviour towards the other AV community, and he just goes out of his way to just crap on these other AV channels and present himself as the best. And the fact that he is showing himself to be really thin-skinned and disingenuous makes me have less charity in my interpretation, because of this greater pattern of arseholery. No, I genuinely, because in his responses to, say, the criticism of the Dark Souls, he is just the biggest douche. Like, the way he's behaving, whereas, like, just go kill yourself. He's telling people to go kill yourself. Isn't that it? And then he tries to, hedge about, isn't that the name of the game? You always want to die in Dark Souls? Yeah, so just go kill yourself and all that stuff. And, like, but he is acting in a actually unironic, toxic way. Or like, this is actual true toxicity, okay? But he might, and I'm not saying he hasn't received toxic behavior. I'm sure there'll be some really harsh comments.
Internet. You pick the internet to be your place of where you do your job. Expect that to happen.
But a lot of the criticism, he had a really bad take, and he hasn't taken any of the feedback. And look, I can understand when a lot of bad, critical, mean feedback comes, you have it. There's a tendency or a knee-jerk reaction to double down, all right? Because you get defensive, you're being attacked and stuff like that. But to the level that he has, and to attack back, and the stuff that he says, he is like utterly oblivious, completely oblivious to any feedback. Like, he has not admitted fault in anything. Like, and there are some really, like, just things that he's claimed to try and deflect criticism that beggars belief almost. So he has been criticised for saying some really aggressive things towards the gay community, okay? And his answer to that is that his accounts were hacked and he didn't post them. His PlayStation, Twitter, YouTube, they were all hacked at the same time.
Oh.
And all those comments were by the hacked persons. Like, and people have even a surface understanding of different accounts and everything like that. What? They were all hacked?
All of them, every single one.
Really?
At the same time, and you have access to them now?
Yeah, he has access to them now.
I thought they were hacked.
So, well, things can get hacked and you can get it back, but someone who hacks my Facebook account can't get access to my YouTube account. That's not how it works.
It's all the same password, you just linked it, but even then, all at the same time.
Yeah, and the thing is, though, he says that these comments were by someone who hacked him, but then there are legitimate comments more recently, when the accounts weren't hacked, which are saying essentially the same stuff. and it's him.
We just filmed a video about AI, and this guy's less self-aware than a chatbot, just based on what I'm hearing now.
It is like popcorn eating stuff if you want to go down the rabbit hole and just the whole saga. It's like, oh boy. Now, it goes to the point where, of course, he tries to do these false copyright strikes and goes crazy on them and everything, which is so dirty for any creator. Like, if you've heard of Mundane Matt, you might have heard of Mundane Matt, but his fall from grace was for doing this very thing. He got caught out, and like, it is because the reason is right is that YouTubers, I understand this because I've experienced it, almost have to operate with a sword of Damocles over their head because they're beholden to favoritism to the larger corporations that YouTube offers them. And whenever we try and review anything, whether it's a video game or movie or anything like that, all these large corporations have to do is accuse us of copyright, not prove or anything. And oftentimes, like, it is unjust and unproven. We lose monetization. Like, it can affect, and if they push it, we can falsely get a copyright strike, and if you get 3 strikes, your channel's deleted. Yep. This is really desperate stuff for a creator because it's their livelihoods in the balance that can be just taken down through abuse, like just lies that people say, oh, copyright.
People have uploaded their music, had the music stolen, had their channel copyrighted, even though it's the first instance of it being uploaded, and the other their music just literally gets stolen. There's nothing they can do about it because there's these bigger channels that just steal it.
I've heard of cases where a YouTuber has created something like a video, and someone wanted to showcase the video, or like a larger news organizer, something wanted to showcase the video on the thing. They showcase it, and then because it's on their news channel, they copyright strike the original creator because it's like that's how bad it can get on YouTube. It's insane. And this is why there's a larger discussion, and I think it's attracted far more attention because it speaks to a big issue with YouTube. And this is something that I've had an issue with ages. There's no penalty for false whatever claims, copyright strikes, everything. They can just do it till the cows come home. Angry Joe has been dealing with this to ad nauseum when he was reviewing Halo because he had a negative review. Every time he negative reviewed Halo, Paramount, whoever was doing it, would copyright strike him to try and get the review taken down, and then have to upload it with different footage and things, to the point where you can't do what is your right. Show a clip for context from the thing you're reviewing, or react to a clip in context, because it has the footage there, and so this is something us YouTubers have been dealing with for ages, to the point where it affects our monetization, our channel livelihood, and our content. We actually have to change the way we make content, far different, sometimes less enjoyable and watchable than what it could have been because of this bull crap that we have to deal with.
Yeah.
And so because there's this shared sort of Damocles that we have to deal with, there's like an understanding amongst creators that this is one of the most dirty things that you can do. If you as a creator falsely use the copyright flagging system as just a means of censorship to take down criticism and stuff like that, and not understanding fair use. This is why Mundane Matt was raked over the coals, and this is why Quantum TV, this is just part of the backlash he is receiving and the hate he's receiving. He's acting like he's just gone crazy and is being blatant and open about it, and doubles down, tries to say this is my right. He has even copyright flagged videos that has his face in the thumbnail because his image is like his thing. He feels is a copyrighted thing. That's how far it goes. Unbelievable, and it goes further. There's more to this rabbit hole, Oz.
Oh, more.
There's more. This would be bad enough, but it goes even further. The Act-Man, of course, contested the copyright claims. YouTube, as you should. YouTube sided with him, thankfully. But that doesn't stop Quantum TV from still doing it, right? And there is no, this is one of the things that Act-Man is promoting and saying what should come out of this kerfuffle, and I agree. There needs to be a penalty for doing a false copyright claim. And so, well, Quantum TV, interestingly enough, if he is so determined that this really is an infringement on his copyright, why isn't he suing? Okay, why didn't he take it? Why did the copyright strikes get lifted after YouTube reviewed and stuff?
Wait, did the copyright strikes get lifted?
I'm pretty sure.
I thought he got demonetized.
This is after. This is where we're not down that we're not through the rabbit hole yet, Oz.
Okay.
He wasn't. So yes, Act-Man has been demonetized, but not for this. Like, his videos that were initially contested by Quantum TV for copyright infringement are up. They're not taken down. Okay. So that's been passed. There are other things that Quantum TV has done, right? And so get this. After the copyright striking didn't work, Quantum TV called up Ackman's mother.
What?
Yep.
He called... What in
Looked up his personal details, found out where he lived, and has said on video saying, yeah, I know where he lives, and I called his mum and stuff like that. Your reaction is just, yeah, exactly. Like, any sane person knows how much of a crazy over-the-line act that is. Now, people might... Quantum TV is like, I didn't threaten her. No, no, no. Just by showing, I know where your mum lives, I know where you live, there's the implicit threat.
Yeah.
Like, seriously. And he's like on videos... He's doubled down at, yeah, I called his mum. Of course I called his mum. What do you think? Well, I've called his mum. And the conversation is really interesting because he's trying to say, I never threatened her. But because he says, the wording, if you listen to the wording, because guess what? That phone call was recorded. And half of it you can actually listen to, Quantum TV, what it's saying. And there is like subliminal threat, not spoken but... It's like you're saying, because I don't want this to get personal. I don't want it to, go further. And it's like, he's trying to say it because he was saying, look, I'm being reasonable. I don't want it to go further. But that's the threat right there. It's like, you don't want me to take this further. That right there is, wow. So over the line. And this is like when you look at, this is where the larger conversation comes in about YouTube's, rules, like it's guidelines, it's creative things that you have to abide by to be on the platform. That is way over the line. So Ackman put up a video in response to all this called The Dark Age of YouTube. It's been taken down for something laughable, right? This is where it's like, what is going on? Because this video that Ackman, people have re-uploaded, so I've been able to watch the whole thing, okay, reveals something truly terrible about YouTube, but so many people I've been aware of this for ages, and it's the double standard.
Oh, absolutely.
YouTube does not enforce its community guidelines evenly in any measure.
No, never.
Like, Ethan Klein did a call to action for people to shoot up an NRA building. It was a call to action to a terrorist thing on stream, and all he did was, that video got demonetized or something like that, right? Like,
any other person.
Yeah.
Anyone else, they'd be off the platform, banned, probably have the police sent to their house.
And we're talking about behavior that YouTube will demonetize a creator just for their behavior in past YouTube channels and off platform.
Yeah.
Like Carl Benjamin, also known as Sargon of Akkad, right? He tried to create a new channel, and when he created a new channel, he tried to, he's actually a really respectful person now, and he's actually he said, I'm trying to do better, I'm trying to be more respectful and stuff, right? And I know him personally, I consider him a friend, we've played, Mountain Blade and everything.
He's my personal hero.
He is a decent, good person, and if you disagree with his political opinions, guess what? You can get along with people you disagree with, okay? I'm deeply religious, Carl is a full-on atheist. We get along, right? It's the whole modern mentality that you can't forgive people, okay? If you've done anything that they disapprove of in the past, doesn't matter how long, if the N-word came up in a tweet, whatever, long ago, irredeemable.
Yep, and
well, guess what?
Worthy of forgiveness.
I'm a Christian and I believe in forgiveness and repentance, okay? I'm not going to judge people on the past, I'm going to judge them on who they are right now. Kind of like my reflection on Quantum TV. How is he acting right now? Okay? Then I'm going to have a judgment on it. And so Carl, he's a really friendly, nice guy. Okay, he's a genuinely good guy who goes out of his way to try and treat people well. And look, he's critical of the people he opposes, and you might say he mistreats, being critical of people he oppose, you kind of understand. You should understand context. Anyway, he tried to make a channel called Akkad Daily, demonetized instantly. There's no redemption for him in YouTube's eyes. More people need to talk about it.
Yeah,
the only way YouTube will ever change is if there's more people speaking up about it, and this is a massive issue. YouTube's unfair administration of its community guides is one of the things that have been plaguing this platform for ages. All right, I disagree with some of those community guidelines. Okay, free speech is a big issue I have, and their hate speech policies and stuff. And perhaps we'll talk a bit about this, because one of the grounds that people are saying Quantum TV should be banned from the platform is under hate speech grounds, and what he has said about the LGBT blah blah blah, blah community.
Oh, that's hate speech.
I know, right? I can't remember them all. I have some things to say even about that. Okay. But he has broken enough guidelines that I agree with, like not doxing people and threatening and calling. Like that is, wow, holy crap. That's bannable. Should be a bannable offence right away, and there's evidence of it happening. Yeah. Okay, so that is so crazy over the line. But these other things, like if YouTube could just, administer its guidelines evenly between all creators, it would be so much better already. They just don't do it. There are times when people will get their entire channel deleted for something unbelievably inconsequential versus other things. And here, now we come to what happened to Ackman's video, Dark Age of YouTube. Okay, so he did a bit of a joke in the video where so Quantum TV has made a lot of comments against gay people and things like that. And this is, wow, does he make Christians look real bad? Because he claims to be... Quantum TV. He claims to be a Christian, and he's made comments where, like, he wished that a gay person was present during, that shooting in the gay thing, and he wished they were there, kind of thing. Like these are, that's where, like, this is, like, my views on hate speech. Okay, I think so much that people say or claims to be hate speech is criticism or disagreement, and it's like, it's hate speech, everything. Like, to me, whenever someone actually truly said hate speech, I always understood that as speech that says person of X group must die, or X group must die. The type of hate speech that the Nazis were truly saying about the Jews. That was my standard and equivalence that I was drawing. And I would say, okay, if you're calling for the death of a group, I would say you could probably call that hate speech. But then people say, you have not said my pronouns I identify with, you're a hateful bigot. Calls for violence is where the line needs to be drawn, and any call to violence is illegal, and that's must be stopped, okay? And so when you say group must be killed or whatever, that's a call to violence and stuff. As to, whoa, I wasn't saying, I was just saying I would have liked that this would have, that's still, an encouragement.
I'm on the fence about it, because I think that sunlight best disinfectant.
I know, because I see the free speech absolutist argument, but I also kind of see the other side of the argument, because if you can demonize a group, like for instance, it was very common during, we need to take the point of reference for Nazi Germany and stuff, they would call Jews vermin, and artistic depictions would always depict them as really,
Well, that's my point, because they couldn't come right out and say, with the massive Jewish population, with the entire international community looking at them, they couldn't just say, let's do it. They couldn't say that. But if you have a taboo, something that makes it need to be hidden, then obviously they're going to find more roundabout, sneaky, slow ways to do it, ensuring that it happens.
Yeah. So this, it's interesting, because I was aware that this would lead us into a conversation about free speech, because he's getting attacked for comments he's made and so.
Yeah.
Because it comes into the dehumanizing language debate. Because there are people that claim certain language is dehumanizing when it's not. For instance, if someone doesn't want to call someone the pronouns identify, to me that's equivalent for a religious person not enforcing others to believe in their God. Okay? They can believe they can believe in the God they want to believe in. You can believe in the gender that you want to believe you are, and that's your own belief. You can't force that belief on other people. It's not hate speech. It's not dehumanizing.
Yeah.
Calling everyone of a certain demographic vermin or rats and things like that, to me that is actually dehumanizing. And I think that type of dehumanizing language is actually used in reverse against the supposed enemies of the hugely, insane left, when they demonize cis white males and stuff like that, where they use dehumanizing language and also phrases like kill all white males. Yes, that was a feminist catchphrase and stuff like that. That type of dehumanizing language makes a person not see people who identify with those things as humans, and it's easy to be violent and aggressive and hateful towards them based on things. And so there might be an argument for hate speech in true, actual, real dehumanizing language versus the false accusation of dehumanizing language.
I think the safest way to not be, hypocritical, I'm not saying you are, but the safest way to make sure you're applying things fairly is to apply a principle pretty much as broadly as you can if it fits a category.
This is the thing, I like the sunlight disinfectant argument, where if you let people just say what they want, and they actually say the true dehumanizing thing, calling everyone of a certain group vermin and stuff like that, well, it reveals them as to who they really are.
That's my point, yeah.
And I get that argument, and Quantum TV has outed himself for saying some really horrid things about gay people. And this is, again, it makes Christians look so bad. And I'm a very conservative Christian.
Well, would it change any of your opinions to know that Actman has said things about Christians?
What do you mean?
He's derided Christians and said they're crazy and all this other stuff. Like, they're doing all this censorships. Like, he's treating us like we're 90s Christians.
Well, I would want to see the exact quote. But the thing is, I'm critical of the Christian right for trying to censor things. Like, I think it's bafflingly stupid in the extreme that the Christian right at one point was trying to stop people from reading Harry Potter and playing Dungeons and Dragons.
Because they thought that Harry Potter would turn people into homosexual, Satanist communists.
They felt actually Harry Potter was witchcraft and was teaching witchcraft. I'm critical of religious right for that. I'm hugely conservative religious, right? And being very conservative, right? Of course I disagree with many things in the LGBT thing, okay? Like, if you knew anything about me, you should have been able to figure that out. Conservative Mormon, yeah, he probably doesn't support homosexual marriage. To clarify, what I don't support is the imposition to acknowledge it. They can believe that they can have any marriage, they can do whatever marriage they want to believe in, and that let them do them, right? The problem I had was forcing me to accept their belief, just like I don't force them to accept my definition of marriage. And this is where it comes into the law. It's like, okay, what about the law? This is where I think my own position is. Civil unions should be separate from marriages. I think marriage should be a wholly either traditional or religious thing, and whatever traditional religion you come from, you can have whatever marriage that traditional religion teaches, and it's the marriage of that thing and a civil union to get certain protection under the law, do that. The issue that was always with, like, actual true conservative Christians that tried to understand both, like, where they were coming from, where the advocates of homosexual marriage was coming from, right? The issue was actually just the word and meaning of marriage and what they were trying to tell us. Like, would you force us to... for instance, Latter-day Saints, we have a thing called eternal marriage that can only happen in temples. It's a marriage that we believe lasts for all eternity, okay? This is really important for us because we feel it's an ordinance of exaltation, okay? This goes into some of the fundamental belief structure of our very religion. And so the issue is, would the state then force us to change our fundamental religious beliefs? Because, of course, we would, like, that marriage, not only is it between a man and a woman, we also restrict members from having temple marriages based on worthiness. Like, if you are smoking, you're not allowed to have a temple marriage in our religion, okay? It's like, are we being bigoted against people who smoke? Yeah, I've noticed we have religious standards that we must adhere to be worthy of this sacred type of marriage. And we deny people, not just for, different lifestyles, but many things, okay? It's a standard that and by the way, people also misunderstand the difference between homosexual attraction and a homosexual lifestyle. To us, those are actually quite different, okay? You can be a member in full fellowship and have homosexual attraction, and the imposition or the commandment to not engage in any sexual activity outside the bonds of marriage between a man and woman is something that applies to someone who is a straight and not married, and someone who is gay and not married, okay? It's like, don't participate in homosexual sex, but we also believe don't participate in heterosexual sex if you're not married. And if you are married, you keep fidelity to that woman. And this is the thing. When you're married, when you get older, anything like sometimes that side of the relationship, like when people get older, it doesn't always stick around.
That's why you better be good friends with them.
Okay.
That's what
But then you are still under the commandment to not look at pornography, to be completely show fidelity and everything like that. And every single member of our church who is not married has the same expectation as if someone who has got same-sex attraction.
Because we've chosen to be a part of it.
Exactly. Celibacy is something important for those. And I lived by that all the way up until I was married. And now I'm married, and it's celibacy. And there are still impositions that commandments that I strive to live by according to the faith. So this is where it goes too far. And this is where I disagree with the extreme Christian right, where they say anyone who has same-sex attraction is just inherently irredeemable. It's like, no, that's not the teachings of Christ, okay? To us, having same-sex attraction is the same type of, I guess, temptation for any type of sin that of any nature that you either have to live and learn to resist and follow the teachings of Christ.
I'm getting a bit off track.
Well, no, it's important because this is a context with Quantum TV's behaviour, with how he has said some extreme things against the LGBT community and tried to claim it's his religious belief and his acting. He's a Christian man. This is how Christians. No, this is not how Christians behave.
A Christian couldn't look at fellow man and be like, that's a abomination.
Well,
that goes against basically what
God hates the sin but loves the sinner.
Yeah,
that's the key. Okay, and there's a perspective we have with people who have same-sex attraction versus someone who has an addiction to alcohol versus someone who has an addiction to pornography. Okay? These are quite equivalent in the expectation that you are commanded to have self-control and abstain from it. Now, I do not actually believe that marriage, I don't think if someone has same-sex attraction, one of the traditions was just get them married anyway, okay? I don't actually agree with that. Having said that, though, there's actually, I read this case of a member of our church who was full on, same-sex attraction, homosexual, but he had such a wonderful relationship with this girl that he loved her. He struggled with same-sex attraction.
Like a sister.
No, but he actually ended up being attracted to her. I'm not saying this would be the case with everyone, every person with same-sex attraction, but they had a really productive, healthy relationship, children, and everything. There is something that I think should be pointed out, though, in regards to this, okay? And it's the nature versus nurture argument. We are seeing more evidence in the modern day about nurture being a greater component in same-sex attraction than nature, people being taught. And this is the whole grooming argument. Like, there is a ridiculously higher percentage of same-sex and also transgender gender dysphoria amongst very progressive households and progressive areas than none. Like, a crazy higher percentage.
Yeah.
That is clearly a product of upbringing.
Yeah.
Okay? I do believe there are people who are born with full-on same-sex, but then there's a middle ground where I think upbringing has clearly a very big influence. And from a Christian perspective, we want people to have families and have children, that's the mutual offspring between two people who love each other and everything like that. Biology has a pretty important thing. So if someone is still developing and stuff, of course we're of the position that we would encourage them to be attracted to the opposite gender. It's not, and this is the thing, if people say that, like, just encouraging is conversion therapy, well, then there's conversion therapy in the opposite. If you are attracting them to be gay, and there's this big push, we saw it in lots of media, even Wheel of Time and stuff like that it's better to be gay than to be straight. To me, that should be, if you have that position, that's almost as bigoted as you think someone saying it's better to be straight than to be gay.
Yeah, but no one claimed that anyone progressive was,
consistent.
And
so either if you want to be truly believe in diversity and stuff, being straight or gay should be equivalent. I obviously am informed by my religion and feel that there's clearly a path that God, prefers. And also, I think the amount of satisfaction that you can get out of family life where you're raising children with someone you think. I think there are people who are just born that way. And in that position, from a religious perspective, so was born with a susceptibility predisposition to certain lifestyles. I think multiple people, and that's the way that I approach it. And this is me trying to understand someone. I don't know, what they're going through and stuff like that. But to say that someone is a vile sinner because of any type of predisposition to a certain behavior, which includes same-sex attraction, but also includes pornography addiction, everything like that, is un-Christ-like and un-Christian and is evil. This is the type of, Satan would want that type of vilification, where Christ wanted everyone to obey him and try and be their best selves according to his commandments and things.
Yeah, and furthermore to be forgiving a fellow man,
yes,
and to remove the beam from your own eye before
Exactly. And this is not me excusing sin in the least, okay? Because I draw a distinction between being tempted and committing the act, okay? That doesn't seem to be the case with many extreme Christians who just say, if anyone is gay there, that's fine. And that's what Quantum TV seems to have been doing, okay? And I wanted to bring that out to say, we're not all like that, okay? There is a more correct Christ-like Christian perspective on anyone who has any perspective or, predisposition to different lifestyles that are contrary to the teachings of the Bible and Christianity and stuff. So people have claimed that because of Quantum TV's comments against the LGBT community, he deserves to be yeeted from the platform.
I don't think so.
It goes into, see, this one, I hope we've been able to contextualize, I'm a bit more on the fence about if he has actually called for death and violence to people based on their lifestyle choices, then that's too far. That's over the line. Then you might have a hate speech argument. But but just to say people saying horrible things and stuff, I look at the equivalence thing. People say horrible, horrible things about Christianity, about Mormons in general and stuff like that. We get them in comments and everything like that. And I get no protections or sympathy.
If someone came out and did a call for violence, like, I want this person murdered, like whoever, doesn't matter who. Could be any ethnic group, any individual amount of people, right? And it happens, then they're guilty of incitement in the eyes of the law.
That to me is like the clearest law line that you should have on a platform.
Yeah, but that's my point is that if they're open to say, like, and then now that versus saying everything else but that.
Yeah, see,
it could still be just as likely to lead to it, but they're less culpable for it.
Yeah, it's interesting. I honestly don't know yet, because I get the disinfectant argument.
Yeah.
Let us know. It's an open conversation. Let us know in the comments about that.
I just think it's the safest way.
Like, because the dehumanizing language aspects to the hate speech discussion, I can see both sides.
Look at the war on drugs, man. They banned drugs, and then all of a sudden, drugs are much more expensive. People are making much richer, more violence.
The prohibition is one of the most stark, shocking examples of a failure in over-policing. I genuinely believe a society would be vastly better without alcohol.
Yeah.
Like, and you're wondering, hey, hang on, Shad. Like, I have multiple friends and associates who are police officers, and they have told me countless times, most of the crime that they deal with is drug and alcohol related. Alcohol is a mind-altering drug, and when I say, I should really say drunkenness, okay? If you could drink to the point where you're always responsible and you're not allowing yourself to be blind, blackout drunk and everything like that, I think it wouldn't affect society nearly as negatively as it currently is.
Yeah.
I get it. Christ drunk alcohol, okay? The reason why we Mormons don't, Latter-day Saints, members of the Church of Jesus Christ, Latter-day Saints, is actually largely, and this is in the scriptural revelation where this comes from, the word of wisdom, is because of the state of the world today. The abuses and the conspiracies that exist to profit off of people's addictions it's so, but like the alcohol is so prevalent and easy to get a hold of. It is 1,000 times more likely and easy to become a drunkard and addicted to it than in the past when alcohol was more expensive, more rare, and you weren't drinking, and stuff.
Yeah, but my point is that the war on alcohol just gave more power and money.
It created a greater crime wave. Yeah,
and gave them more power and more money.
I know, and so it's something that you, like I said, when I was saying at the beginning of this part of the discussion, is that I think society would be better if there was no alcohol, but to enforce it creates even more problems.
Yeah.
And so...
Because the truth is, you can't really ban anything.
Humans are individuals, and if they are intent on drinking alcohol, behaving the way that they decide they want to behave, trying to prevent them by the act of law will create even more problems. The way that you can try and do it is to talk to them, convince them that this might, and like this is what we do in the church. Is like when we are teaching people about our faith and that we don't drink alcohol, we teach them through exhorting and encouragement and things, and work with them. Yeah, that's what we do.
Just for the record, I'm not saying let every drug be unbanned, let every banned item be allowed. I'm just saying we got to think more so about the effects of banning something before we do it. Because what's going to be and also the effects of allowing it too, vice versa.
Gosh,
it's a tricky one.
I mean, my own self, I would love pornography to be banned. This would not prevent people from looking at it, but I feel a ban would protect my children from being exposed to it vastly. It's so easy for them to just accidentally.
It's in the movies.
I hope people can understand how me as a parent when I say this and how heartbroken I get. I won't say anything like in detail, but there was an incident in which one of our children could have been exposed to some, explicit stuff, and they're so young, and I can't express how heartbroken I was as a parent that happened, and it gets me angry that the world is in that state. These are children; they're so young. Let's not corrupt them. And so when I say I personally prefer pornography banned, I know people are going to do what they want to do, and if they're going to want to do it, I won't be able to stop them. And so I'm not saying this in the intent to stop people from doing what they want to do, but I feel a ban on it would help protect the most vulnerable among us from being exposed to it when they shouldn't be.
Yeah. And look, if you look back at the 60s, you can see what the outcome of sexual repression can be as well at the same time. So it's a bloody tricky one.
Oh, well, that's the thing. Latter-day Saints, trust me, we do not have a problem with sex once we get married.
Yeah.
It's just, we believe... Sorry, Nathan is there nodding.
Nathan was recently married.
It was a long weekend this week, that's all I'm going to say.
When Nathan came back to work from his honeymoon, he had a limp.
My back was really sore.
My ears!
There's an unmarried woman here, people. Quiet. Mormons, Latter-day Saints, we're not as prudish as people might think, but though we are prudish in certain areas, especially, it's just we believe things need to be done in appropriate times. Yeah,
For the longest time, it made me feel like sickly sweet, like I'd had too much chocolate.
So, all right. Quantum TV is one of the worst examples of someone who claims to be... Oh, look, there's probably worse, but he openly, I'm a Christian, this is my belief and stuff like that, and it's just... and in terms of him being banned based on the hate speech, well, currently, the actual hate speech policies on YouTube he has broken, all right? I think the hate speech policies on YouTube currently go too far and are applied very unevenly. I get no hate speech protections for me being Christian, being a Latter-day Saint, or white, or a man, or straight.
But we don't really need it.
We get I actually get attacked more regularly than I think for being people try and dismiss my opinion for the very fact it came from immutable characteristics. It came from a white cis male.
Yeah.
That is some serious bigoted sexist racism right there. But no one cares because
yeah,
I'm privileged.
And that's my point is why if we're going to have a rule based all into.
But at the moment, they have protected groups, and even people who suffer the same type of abuse, if they're not in the protected group, YouTube doesn't care.
Every action has an equal and opposing reaction. That goes for things you try to ban and prohibit and allow and all that sort of thing. So, you have a protected group today, well, the next day, that protected group is now the group who's dominating and destroying the other, and vice versa, over and over again until the end of time.
If people truly believed in homophobe, right, he's against the gays and stuff, it was teasing him that, the pickle,
no pun intended. That is low hanging fruit.
It is.
Come on, Axeman, you can do better than that.
He can, but I could see where it came from. Anyway, someone, I wouldn't be surprised if it was Quantum, reported this for unwanted sexualization and sexual harassment. YouTube took down the entire video based on that complaint.
They didn't ask him to remove it? Is there a possibility that they could ask him to remove it?
That should have been the course of action.
No, but my question is, though, is that what YouTube would usually do, or is there every circumstance that comes up, they get rid of it completely?
I don't know. That's what they should have done. If there was a problematic element in a video that YouTube thinks is too far, the creator would have said, yeah, I'll clip it, I'll get rid of it.
That thing might be used to protect women or any, that's my point. Well, if it's a touchy, dangerous subject.
So let's flip it in reverse, all right? Would people consider this have been inappropriate if it was a girl? A girl was speaking and someone put a cucumber insinuating her doing something or having something thrust into her mouth against her will.
Furthermore, what if it was a woman who lived in Saudi Arabia in a video?
What if it was a woman who actually had a traumatic past that suffered from sexual abuse? They might find that legitimately traumatic.
If this guy actually has these things and they actually are tied to his Christian belief that he really doesn't like anything homosexual or anything like that, then look,
you would say it's inappropriate, that the cucumber part.
Look, it's not overly offensive in my opinion, but I'm not this dude. He might have looked at it and actually been fuming.
Oh, I'm sure it's probably fuming.
Yeah.
From my observation, he's cannot take criticism. Look, I admit, I reckon a lot of the criticism he's been receiving has probably been very aggressive, just because I've experienced a taste of what the Elden Ring community can ob against someone. But there are some things that you would think if it's shown to you so clearly, you might say, maybe I went too far, like the false flag.
Yeah.
Things, you know?
But with just that one specific thing with the thing and the cucumber and this,
I mean,
with sexual content. Look, I mean, the thing is there. It does technically have a sexual connotation, one that he clearly in the past has shown he doesn't want anything to do with. In fact, he hates it. And if that's the case, I'm not going to begrudge him for taking action to get rid of it.
Look, it does seem to be a joke, specifically at the expense to tease him for his beliefs, his identity. You know?
An atheist would be like, "Oh, drawing a picture of Muhammad's fine."
I know, but
and that's the ultimate offense in Islam. So I'm not going to begrudge someone.
I get what I get what you're saying there, and to me, what that means is if the obvious one is that you should say blur it, remove it from the video or something like that.
But again, that's why I asked: is this what happens in every case? Because if YouTubers applied this as the same way with every other case,
I would say there are hundreds of videos with pretty close, like making fun of people for their sexuality and things like that they don't get yeeted or banned.
But they don't get reported for that either.
Probably not reported either, yeah.
That's my point. So, yeah, if they've applied this same thing for every other person who's claimed it, then...
Yeah. Well, the disturbing part is, right, to me there was so many ways in which YouTube could have handled that complaint for the video that this really looks like YouTube is taking down the video to try and hide lots of criticism against itself as a platform, because the whole point of that video was showing in a pretty stark way YouTube misapplying their community standards, because there's another big thing that this video talks about, right, that has the pickle in it. Ban evasion. So it turns out that Quantum TV has had a YouTube channel that was banned off the platform for the comments that he's being, accused of having said, the hate speech related ones, or according to YouTube policies, hate speech. And one of the big rules is that if you are banned, you're not allowed to make an alternate thing to avoid the ban. You're not allowed to upload an alternate channel and things like that. That's considered ban evasion stuff. And the video Ackman shows pretty compelling evidence that Quantum is ban evading because he has these channels that like he legitimately has a channel that's banned. He's used the Wayback Machine to corroborate and confirm this and stuff. And the thing that Ackman tried. Sorry, the Quantum TV then has tried to say, this is the channel, it's still up and it's not banned, and then they've proven that he's actually changed the name of that channel to the channel that was banned to try and show that it's still up when it's actually still... They've caught Quantum TV out on what looks to be some black and white dishonesty, like pretty strong. And so... they have a very compelling case of that Quantum TV should have been banned previously from the platform, and that he is evading that ban by making multiple YouTube channels, changing names regularly on the channel, stuff like that. Couple of things for me. I don't think a ban should be permanent unless it's the most extreme thing, and so...
No, I don't think it should ever be permanent.
Yeah, I mean... I don't know. It's like a Harvey Weinstein individual. Like, to me, is there...
Well, what did Harvey Weinstein do to deserve to have him banned from something completely forever with no chance?
You raise an interesting point about to what level of...
if we're Christian,
depersoning should someone receive for criminal behaviour? Because if we do believe in, repentance and people improving themselves, and there's the case of many people who've gone to prison having a really hard time finding jobs and other things like that.
Like if we're gonna impose rules on what we think should be done, and say that these things should also be applied, we should be subject to them too. We better think really bloody hard about what we say should be a rule, because you never know, the thing might just flip back on you. You got to.
I would rather say that it's more appropriate for Quantum TV to be judged according to what it's doing now than what it's done in the past.
Yeah, same.
And that goes back to what I was saying before about, past tweets and other things, and people hating on Sargon of Akkad and all that things. Let's look at people, how they act now. Thing is, though, Quantum TV, the bigger, like I said, the doxing, the calling, and the false flagging, copyright claiming stuff is already, that should be, a bannable offence right there.
You pick your battles, right? And so, not only do you pick your battles, you pick when they end. So you can say, okay, so I could be like, he picks his battle. He could have stopped it at the... Actman could have stopped it at... No, just hear me out, hear me out.
Yep.
I'm not victim blaming.
Oh, no, but I'm just saying Actman has taken it even further, and this is why his channel got demonetized.
This is my point, right? So he could have stopped at the first video that got demonetized. He could stop right now after his, other videos got taken down and his channel got demonetized, Or he could take it further and take it to court. He can choose to stop, or he can choose to keep going. If he admits defeat now and doesn't sue the guy, then he's admitted defeat. He's said this is where the battle ends for me. Or he could go further. I think if he doesn't want his channel to be demonetized, and he wants some actual, wants this to be sorted by law, he should keep going. But my point is, you do pick your battles. You do choose when you're willing to fight.
Well, there is something that Actman has done, which even he acknowledged probably, well, it was a joke, and so this is I'll be interested in your thoughts on this because of the joke, thing. Actman is obviously getting a bit upset and incensed by this, right? And so he submitted all these things to YouTube with some pretty strong evidence about the false copyright claiming, the doxing, calling his mum and stuff like that. And YouTube came back and said, this does not break our community.
Yeah, no, that's bull. That's obviously bullcrap.
And so obviously Actman was very upset about this. And then he decides to make a sarcastic few tweets where he says, based on, I'm paraphrasing now, but based on YouTube's community and how they stand it, they are perfectly fine with doxing, everything like that. So I'm now announcing the Harassing YouTube Employees Initiative, where I'm going to go and...
That was not tactful.
No, but it was obvious in context that it was satirical and sarcastic. Obvious.
But again, if you're
in this situation where you're dealing with...
They've literally just told you, we are not going to hold you to the rules we hold people to. We're not going to hold, and so why would you be like, you know what, fine, I'm going to be consistent with the principle you've given me and attack you with it. No, they won't care.
Yeah.
That's, again, pick your battles.
Oh, exactly. He's taken down the tweets and everything. It's clearly a joke, but YouTube took it as a threat against YouTube employees, and as a result, they demonetized his whole channel.
Yeah, again, that is wrong what YouTube did, right? I completely disagree with YouTube's ruling before, and I don't he shouldn't have said something like that.
It's a joke, though.
Yeah, it's a joke. It's not a smart one.
That's probably better. It's like, I don't want to take away people's right to make jokes or say things in sarcasm through frustration.
And I'm just saying for his own self-interest. I'm not saying what he did was wrong.
But for the situation, not the best tactical choice with how trigger-happy YouTube was showing itself to be, and has shown for a while.
Yeah.
And stuff.
I feel sorry for him.
But the thing is, though, this by him making that tweet and then copying a full demonetization, which most people feel are unjust, YouTube could have just said, what the hell, it's like, hey, it's a joke, all right, take down the tweet or something like that. But any number of things, when we don't know if he'll get his monetization back, the response that YouTube did and him getting demonetized has caught, that's one of the biggest signal boosting things, where the hashtag justice for the Actman has happened. And so if his intent was to get people to understand or know the situation of what's going on, all those tweets did more than that. Streisand affected this in the atmosphere even further than what Quantum TV was doing. So, could it have been a tactical thing? Thing is, though, since then, everything that I've seen from the Actman has been very tactful, very thoughtful, and has gone on to say, look, I'm not trying... YouTube's actually a great platform. I just want it to improve. I don't have anything against any YouTube employees and stuff. And so he's been far more tactful and reasonable since. And I could see...
Yeah, but that's after the case.
Yeah. And look, clearly that tweet was coming from a place of great frustration.
Yeah. Look, I'm not making any judgment on his character. I'm just saying that was not a tactful move, considering a situation.
Yeah. But, like I said, it certainly caught the attention of the mainstream, though.
Yeah.
I know, Philip DeFranco's interviewed him and talked about it and everything, and there's a lot of other channels.
Well, maybe it was tactful. Maybe I'm completely wrong.
Yeah, because this is the thing. This is one of the biggest problems with YouTube, getting YouTube to pay attention and to listen. This is an issue people have been trying, the whole false flagging crap, we have been screaming about it for ages. And
they know.
Yes, someone who like
You can't make someone
I
listen
forget
to you,
which
you know?
creator said. I sat down with Susie. Oh, it was Moist Critical. I think it was. He's like, I sat down.
Hey, guys.
We love that, but I sat down with Susie Whiskey 2 years ago and said this exact thing, and they haven't done.
Yeah, again, if someone doesn't want to listen to you, they won't.
Well,
Nothing you can do about it.
unless enough people kick up a stink, like that's the crappy thing. The only way to get YouTube's like acknowledgement and reaction is to kick up the biggest stink you can, basically, either on Twitter or otherwise, and then they might deign address the situation. And hopefully, this has caught on enough attention that YouTube. Look, I think the most likely outcome is Ackman will get his monetization back. I'm not sure if they will take any action against Quantum TV. I think it'll be likely if they actually, look at many of the way he's been behaving and stuff. And it'll probably end there. I would prefer their first thing to do is to fix the false flagging problem. Like, every creator would be so grateful to that. And that there needs to be a penalty, like a legitimate penalty, for people who flag wrongly.
They've put the system there the way it is because lawyers looked at it and says this protects us the most.
YouTube the most.
Yeah, and that's
But
what's most important. to the
You would
company.
think, like, if someone is guilty and been proven on multiple times for flagging things falsely, and someone reviews and says, no, this is wrong, everything like that, their right to flag things should be removed.
Even then, too dangerous for them because what if it's Sony? What if it's any other media production company with millions of dollars? That's the thing, man.
You actually raise a very good point that YouTube is picking the thing that protects them the most, even if it screws over the creators.
Yeah, we're little fish in a big pond,
But again, it goes into that, and where YouTube is basically trying to, pander to the mainstream, push the.
And unfortunately,
And then the creators that do get put on the trending thing are specifically curated by YouTube, and only the people with the right politics and the right, demographics appear on there, and the regular creators will never appear on
like
trending.
that girl in the van.
Yeah.
Had 2 videos, but like 3 million subscribers because she spoke to Susan and said, "Hey, where's my stuff?"
I don't know. Yeah, that was bizarre. I don't know if she spoke to Susan that caused it.
Yes, she did. She literally spoke to this lady in person.
I don't know, because I've heard people give accounts of that, and that never came up.
I've seen the video.
Right, well, I can't remember. But no, I've had successful videos, like videos that. So trending should be a video that is getting a lot of attention and is actually getting views. It's therefore trending. That would be the definition of trending.
Yeah, but
I've had videos that are getting more views and more traction from being first published than a lot of the videos on the trending tab, but they all get completely ignored.
But then they miss out on the opportunity to make some bank off the trending tab.
Really, how so?
Well, it's free advertisement for literally anything that you want.
Yeah, and they're
pay
promoting.
bigger.
Well, it's already shown that YouTube will curate and push and recommend that something happened. It was a tragedy or something like that, and they put videos out there, and she's like, so few people are watching this, and it's really important that they see it. So we made sure we pushed it. Like, it's their choice if they want to watch it, all right, based on their subscription. And even perhaps their watch history, okay, and that's what it should be based on.
All they've done with the training tab is confirm that I'm not going to use it. I don't use a training tab at all, ever.
Yeah, but recommendations is one of the main ways that people pick their videos, and recommendations, even though they try, it's based off of what you watched previously. There's a lot of subscribers, things I'm subscribed to that I barely get recommended. I always have to look them up.
If I watch a bloody Tim Pool video, I get directed to Fox.
YouTube screwed me over recently with one of the last videos on Shadowversity. Put out a video, and the click-through rate was about equivalent to a little bit higher than my regular videos. What that means is when people are recommended the video, what is the percentage rate of them clicking on the video and watching it? Okay, and okay, if that is as high, so a low click-through rate could explain low views. But if the click-through rate is just as high, that means the same amount of people are clicking on it when it's getting recommended. What it means then is that it's not getting views, it's not getting recommended. And I put out a video, and the views were just cratered. It would not attracting nearly as well as a lot of my other videos. It's because YouTube just decided, I don't know, screw me on that one. And it might have been because it's a cast-related video, and I haven't been making as many cast-related videos, so therefore a lot of my viewers haven't watched cast-related videos recently, and so YouTube thinks that they're not interested in castle ones, and they won't promote it, even though they're watching all my other content.
It could be as simple as that.
Yeah.
It literally could be. Or it could be some dark, like bloody eldritch reason that the Cthulhu who they have hooked up in the
Well,
basement just won't allow it.
It's already been proven that YouTube has a favoritism kind of algorithm of how much your videos get promoted. And it's already shown that people who are against woke agenda and stuff like that, they often get demonetized vastly more and their videos get recommended vastly less to people outside of their community. And so that's the key to growth. You need your videos recommended to people who are not subscribers to grow, right? And like, you know, Shadiversity more in the last half year and everything like that, subscriber growth is cratered. My videos just aren't getting recommended to new viewers. It's getting recommended to some of my subscribers, but as the algorithm works, if some of my subscribers just don't watch a couple of videos, even though they still are interested in a lot, but if they just miss like up to 3, my videos won't get recommended to them because the algorithm thinks, oh, they're not watching his videos. I tweeted out saying, did you get recommended this video? Just like I tweeted, community post, and so many people said, I never got the recommendation. I would have loved to have seen it. So there you go. Yeah, like YouTube, they don't make it easy being a creator.
To be fair, you remember the stick video? Well, the nunchuck video, which had the sticks in it, right? Why sticks better than nunchucks? Your rant where you're going on about sticks are so much better. This is the stick that had a right. That was shared on a ton of different websites on Facebook.
Yeah. It got shared externally, which helped boost it.
So maybe that's the way to defeat it. Is to just make up funny moments like that.
I don't know. But it does rely on you guys sharing. If you do like the video, subscribe and like and comment helps boost its not always, but it gives it a higher chance the algorithm will notice, hey, there's more interaction on this video, so like and comment, consider interaction with a view as well, and higher chances the video gets promoted as well. And if you really want to support us, if you would be willing to chuck us $1 once a month or whatever, or $5 a month on Patreon or Subscribestar, that would really help us get security, because it's like sort of Damocles, because ad revenue is up and down. We might get demonetized around the corner. It happens quite easily, as we've seen.
Should we have a separate one for Night's Watch, and we'll read out the names of them or something like that?
Maybe. Let us know in the comments. But at the moment, it's the Shad Brooks one, and the supporting the Shad Brooks Patreon and Subscribestar helps support all the content I'm making. Night's Watch, Shadiversity, Shadlands as well.
Because I've got a feeling that there'll be a lot of people that are subscribed to Night's Watch that will want to give us money, and so I will gladly be their whore for that $1.
But the support would be great, because my goal, my dream would be to be self-sustaining and not reliant on ad revenue. Because that's the that sort of Damocles right now is everything is relying on the YouTube ad revenue. They might dislike the most random thing in our video, and suddenly we're yeeted. When, like, oh, we just won't be monetized, and like the reason why I want to encourage people to support us is actually because we have a team now. We have a whole crew, and that requires money, and I want them to keep them. And not only do I want to give them a job, but I want to be able to have the job grow into bigger and better things and to expand. Your support would be brilliant if you could do that.
And since coming here to work, I have expanded.
Yeah.
If there's anything I hate as a conspiracy theorist, it's false flags.